So he's one of my coaching mentors. So I was a quality control coach for him in Army for 2 years. I was his corners coach for 2 years. And then we've stayed in touch, a lot, right? And then we kind of had a little bit of opportunities with him being at A&M and myself being at Houston last year to kind of stay in touch and link up. But it's kind of been a thing where he's had a couple opportunities to hire me again. And then this one, luckily, he was able to do that. So it's been really good because, being with somebody as long as we were, I would say, 80-90% of football we see the exact same. And a lot of the times we speak the same language and kind of, I kind of have a feel for what he wants, having been in a quality control role for him and then having been a position coach for him. So that was definitely a very appealing part about this job. One of the questions they asked me in the thing was, what's been one of the bigger challenges when you take over a program? And a lot of times it's the language, right? Everybody be on the same page. And, Coach Bateman, myself, Coach Wilt, Coach Gibson, we were all at Army together. Obviously, Gibby was a player then. And then, AB having been at Florida with Coach Bateman, Coach Holder playing for him, right? There's a lot of us that, we knew each other. Per se, we didn't work with each other, but we knew each other, and so I think that helps a lot. So we talk about three things, like having the ability to run, to hit, and communicate, right? And the safeties are a little bit like the quarterback of the defense. There's a lot of stuff that goes into them. There's a lot of calls, a lot of situations that come up, and so that's kind of one thing. With us is we spend a lot of time on the communication part, right? As far as talking, knowing your assignments, but also communicating to everybody else on the defense. And so that's kind of one of the number one things. Like the running part's a little bit on them. We can demand effort out of them, and we do. The hitting part's a little bit on them, but we try to refine the tackling technique that we use. But the communication's a thing that we spend a lot of time on. Yeah, so that was like my number one recruiting goal, right? Was to get Ty. So I got hired and then came here for like 3 or 4 days and then went back to Houston and coached in the bowl game. So it's kind of hard to serve two masters, but I spent a lot of time when I was here with Ty. He's a really good player. I met his dad for the first time today. Ty's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's got a really good football IQ. And one of the things that I didn't realize until you really start coaching him is like his ball skills. Being able to return punts, being able to, the interceptions and stuff like that. So Ty is a really, really good player. And we're really glad we kept him. Yeah, so Martell's is a good player, and the thing that has been really impressive with Martell's, I'm sure you guys have been out there and seen it, like he's a great teammate. To be able to go, like he's doing a little bit of both for us right now. He's playing a little bit of offense, he's playing a little bit of defense, he's returning kicks. And the good part about Martell's is he didn't really flinch off of it. Right? It was like, all right, coach, what can I do for Kentucky? And he still meets with us, he still does some stuff with us, but he's kind of doing a little bit of both right now.